Hello and welcome back to another Next Great Adventure video. Today we have something a little different. We have part haul video and part mail call video. We'll start with the haul video. This is comics I got from an antique mall over the weekend. It was the first time I had been to this antique mall, and they had one comic dealer there, and it was a very nicely arranged comic book dealer in an antique mall. I know how most of them tend to be kind of dilapidated. You know, you find some comics in bags and boards, some only in bags, and then the rest just kind of thrown haphazardly, and it's a lot of, well, for lack of a better word, junk, and they kind of want to charge a premium for it. This booth was not like that at all. I found everything to be very nicely organized. Everything was bagged and boarded, and everything was $1, $2, $3, $4, and then they had some bigger issues, and obviously they charged more for those, but for the majority of their stuff was around $2 or less. So I took some time, went through, and picked up some stuff. Nothing really spectacular, but for what was there, it was some nice buys, and it was some issues to help fill in holes in my collection that I had lost over the years, and also ones from my childhood that I couldn't pass up. So without further ado, these are the comics that I got this weekend. I spent about $34 including tax on these, so I'll let you be the judge. First one we got was X Factor 71. This is Peter David taking over the title, where it's a brand new team where the original X Factor members went back to the X-Men. This is a team with Havoc, Polaris, Multiple Man, Wolfsbane, and Strong Guy. Written by Peter David and Larry Stroman. I don't remember if I had this in my collection or not, but it was $1, so I couldn't pass up on it. So this was the first dollar comic I got. Next dollar comic I got was the X-Men Onslaught issue, written by Mark Waid and drawn by either Adam Kubert or Andy Kubert. I think it was Adam Kubert. Could be wrong. Let me know. This sets up the Wildstorm and Extreme Studios, Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee coming in and redoing a lot of the Marvel characters such as Captain America, Iron Man, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four. To fight Onslaught, this is a combination of Professor X and Magneto. Got his start in this issue, and it carried over in another one-shot for Onslaught Marvel Universe. And then after that, those heroes were taken off the board and brought into a sub-universe created by Franklin Richards. So for $1, I couldn't pass it up. Now we're moving on to the ones that I paid $2 for. First one is Spider-Man number 16, or like that. This was the final issue of Spider-Man that Todd McFarlane did. It was a crossover with Rob Liefeld's X-Force. See right there? Bye, Todd. Spider-Man wishing Todd McFarlane best as he goes to start Image Comics. The entire issue is meant to be read like this. And it has some heavy editing where Shatterstar stabs Juggernaut in the eyes. It's just kind of a wild issue, and you can tell that, you know, Todd McFarlane knew this was his last issue, so he's just going to let it all hang out. But definitely worth a couple of bucks. Next, this was a comic I had as a child. I bought this when it came out. Space 1991. 1991. No, Space 1999. Drawn by Joe Staton. It's an old Charlton comic, and for $2 I couldn't pass it up. It's in really nice condition. It's much better than the one I had, where I read the thing until the cover literally fell off. So well worth the $2, and I was quite surprised to find it there at that price. Okay, another $2 issue, Silver Surfer and Rune. This is back when Marvel purchased the Ultraverse, Prime, Hardcase, The Strangers, things like that. And this was a crossover. I'm a sucker for crossovers. I wish Marvel and DC would go back to doing them. Did not have this one, so I figured I'd pick it up since it was only $2. Always like my crossovers. Next, we have the official Marvel guide to the X-Men. This indexes all the Uncanny X-Men issues, I believe, from issue 1 up to about 350 or so. This is number 7. This one, obviously, telling from the cover, covers around X-Men 137, which features the death of Phoenix. I always like having these reference things, just kind of see what was going on, see if there's anything I missed in there. So, well worth the $2. Next, Astonishing X-Men number 10, a limited edition from Marvel Comics. This is one that I believe I have, but I do not have this cover. So in addition to crossovers, I'm also a sucker for variant covers. So it's the first time I'd seen this, so picked it up for $2. And Astonishing X-Men 32, I don't believe I have this one. So even if I do, it's $2. So not a real loss there if I do have it. So that one. And then we have Irredeemable number 1 by Mark Waid. I have been curious about this from hearing about it, and I couldn't believe they had it for $2. So this was one of the first things I picked up in the $2 bin. I'm glad I did. Now I've read it and I may decide to get the rest of the issues because it's very interesting. And if they do make a television series or a movie or an animated series out of it, it's going to be very interesting. It's about superhero pretty much Breaking Bad. I'm glad I picked it up. Did not expect to find it there. All right, so we are moving into the $3 section of books. First one is JSA number 1. This is one of my all-time favorite titles. Jeff Johns is one of my all-time favorite writers. This is the 3rd copy of number 1 I have. I just have a feeling with the Black Adam movie coming out that this is going to take off, especially since it stars a couple of the heroes who are going to be in that Black Adam movie. And also it's got appearance of Stargirl back when she was the Star-Spangled Kid. I believe the JSA is primed to really take off in 2021, and whenever I have a chance to pick up a cheap copy of JSA number 1, I never pass it up. All right. Death of X number 3. I picked up this variant cover because I have the New Mutants Marvel graphic novel with the original cover by Bob McLeod, and I couldn't pass up this one, this Death of X, with everybody looking very thin in this one. So what can I say? Also a sucker for variants. Okay, final 2. Life Theft, Amazing Spider-Man 388, $3. Typical of a mid-90s comic book where, everything's either a giant size or embossed or a shiny. This one has all 3. Had this at one time, for whatever reason don't have it, so for $3 I figured it was worth it. And these final 2, I found it remarkable that one was $3 and the last one was $4. These are comics I had from my childhood, and like I said, I read the covers off these things. This first one for $3 was Fantastic Four number 143. This has what I believe is a classic cover featuring Doctor Doom versus the Fantastic Four. You'll notice that this is the time when Medusa was the member of the Fantastic Four taking over for the Invisible Woman. This, I looked at it, the cover's really nice. It has just a couple little ticks and there's a minor stain on the back cover. Other than that, it presents fantastically, and if you put it in Mylar, it'll look like $1,000,000. So, excuse me, I'm glad to have this issue back in my collection. And finally, the only $4 comic I got, Avengers 129, featuring Kang the Conqueror, who's kind of getting hot these days. I had this issue when I was a child. It led directly into an issue of Giant Size Avengers, which is the issue where the swordsman right there died. This, I looked at it, I couldn't find any faults with it. There's a couple little ticks on the spine, considering, it's getting close to 50 years old. Also, when you get a comic from this era, be sure to check to make sure the value stamp is intact. This one thankfully was intact. It was a value stamp of the leader. So this one I'm glad to have back in my collection. Now I just have to go find that giant size that continues this story. So all in all, really good hunt. I am going to keep checking that antique mall. It's probably one of the best antique malls for comics I've found. I'm going to keep going back, and hopefully they'll keep replenishing the supply. So that is the haul portion of this. Next one I have, this arrived in the mail today, so I figured I'd make it a haul and mail call day. So I get so much stuff, I honestly do not remember what I ordered in here. So you will discover with me what I got. Once again, the world's most dangerous box opener is making an appearance. All right. All right. Anthony's comic book art. All right. You know, I think I actually saw a video on this just last night. There's a little, he's got tons of comic book art and comic books. I mean, tons of art. Wow. Okay. Enjoy this free comic book from Anthony. All right. Let's see. All right. Scavengers. You know, it's funny. In my collection, I actually have another issue of the Scavengers. This is one from the 1990s where they were all looking for different ways to set themselves apart from the other collectors. This one is a numbered. It is 5246 out of 30,000, which today would be a tremendous number. Yep, Anthony Snyder. This is interesting. I just watched a video on this. Anthony Snyder, for those of you who are a little bit older, his father was Jimmy the Greek Snyder, who used to be on CBS NFL pre-shows in the 70s and 80s. Wow. All right. I belong to the Merry Marvel Marching Society. More for Anthony's comics. Ah, I know what this is. Okay, I was a bit mystified to begin with, but now I remember. I just didn't expect this to show up very fast. These are some Razorline comics from the mid-90s from Clive Barker and Marvel Comics. And what we have here, the main thing, 3 issues of Ecto Kid. Clive Barker just let it be known about a week ago that he is working to produce an Ecto Kid television show, and as a result, interest in this is starting to spike. I saw the news, went out, picked it up as quick as I could, and now it's here. So I now am the proud owner of 3 Ecto Kid comic books. So that's pretty great. All right. Well, that's it for my mail call and haul video today. Looking at my emails, I have a lot of stuff coming in. There's going to be stuff from Boxed Heroes, stuff from Comic Tom 101, stuff from that Spider-Man booth. So be on the lookout for those. And also be sure to leave a comment or a like if you saw what you liked. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I look to have a lot more videos coming in the near future as more stuff comes in. And until then, this is The Next Great Adventure signing off.